Alright, guys, so today we are going to dive into the Scheda Ministeriale quiz, which is specific to those of you who are preparing to write the exam. So please, I will encourage you to watch it till the end to know how many you are going to get at the end of the quiz. So let's proceed. The number one is said, il pannello integrativo raffigurato invita a mantenere una distanza di almeno 20 metri dalla macchina sgombraneve in funzione. Oh yes, it is. The number one is vero, not falso. Okay? Because he said the supplementary panel you are seeing here shown invite you to keep a distance of at least 20 meters from snow plug in operation. Oh, yes, it is. So the number one is vero, not falso. It is an obligation for you to keep a safety distance of 20 meters from the slow plug machine, which is the Máquinas Gombra Neve, whenever is in action. So the number one is vero, not falso. Okay. All right. So let's move to number two. The number two, he said, il segnale raffigurato vieta il transito ai veicoli aventi sull'asse più caricato una massa effettiva superiore a quella indicata. Oh yes, it is. The number two is vero, not falso. Okay? Because he said the sign shown you are seeing here prohibit the transit of vehicles having an actual mass on the most loaded axle greater than that indicated. Oh, yes, it is. The divieto di transito per veicoli commença per asa superiore pane you are seeing here prohibit the transit of vehicles having an actual mass on the most loaded axle greater than that indicated. So the number two is vero, not falso. Okay. So let's move to number three. The number three is said, le luce rosa accesa lampeggianti in figura obbligano ad arrestarsi all'acceso di un pontile di imbarco di navi traghetto. Oh yes, it is. The number three is vero, not falso. Okay? Because he said the flashing red light in the figure you are seeing here requires you to stop at the entrance to a ferry boarding dock. Oh, yes, it is. The luce rosse lampeggiante panel you are seeing here, which is the light you are seeing here, if it is being placed at the entrance to a ferry boarding dock, then it requires you to stop as soon as the light, which is the red light, is flashing red. So the number three is vero, not falso. Okay? I repeat. Le luce rosa accesa lampeggianti in figura obbligano ad arrestarsi all'acceso di un pontile di imbarco di navi traghetto. Oh yes, it is. The number three is vero, not falso. Okay? The flashing red light you are seeing here in the figure can also be placed at the level crossing, which is the passaggio a livello. So the number three is vero, not falso. Okay? So let's move to number four. The number four is said, si può circolare con un autoveicolo in cui mancano temporaneamente gli specchi retrovisori, poiché hai velocità no superiore ai 50 km orario è tenendo in azione la segnalazione luminosa di pericolo. No, it is falso, not vero. Okay? Because he said you can drive a vehicle temporarily without a rear view mirrors, provided that the speed does not exceed 50 kilometers per hour and the hazard warning light is on. No, it is false. Okay? Because you cannot drive a vehicle on the road without a rear view mirror, which is the specky retrovisor. Because, but if you pay attention to the question, it's telling you that you can drive a vehicle temporarily without a rear view mirrors, which is si puoi circolare con un autoveicolo in cui mancano temporaneamente gli specchi retrovisori, poiché hai velocità non superiore ai 50 km orario e tenendo in azione la segnalazione luminosa di pericolo. No, it is falso, not vero. Okay? Like as I said, you cannot drive a vehicle on the road without a rear view mirrors, even for a temporary purposes. So the number four is falso, not vero. Like as I said, the questions are set to trick you. So let's move to number five. The number five is said, il segnale raffigurato è posto in corrispondenza dell'inizio di una corsia riservata alle biciclette accanto ad un percorso pedonale. The number five is vero, not falso, okay? Because he said the sign shown you are seeing here is placed at the beginning of a lane reserved for bicycles next to a pedestrian path. Oh, yes, it is. The pista ciclabile contigua al marciapiede panel you are seeing here is usually placed at the beginning of a lane reserved for bicycle next to a pedestrian path. So the number five is vero, not falso, okay? So let's move to number six. The number six, he said, il delineatore raffigurato è posto ai lati della strada. No, it is falso, not vero, okay? Because he said the delineator picture is placed on the side of the road. No, it is falso, not vero, okay? Because the delineator shown you are seeing here, normally it is used to signal an obstacles on the road. I repeat, il delineatore raffigurato viene utilizzato per segnalare un ostacolo. That is what it is meant for. And not just that, the delineator shown you are seeing here is also placed inside the carriageway in the presence of an obstacle. So the number six is falso, not vero. Okay? So let's move to number seven. The number seven is said, quando le persone anziane attraversano la carreggiata, bisogna tenere presente che potrebbero fermarsi improvvisamente al centro della strada. Oh yes, it is. The number seven is vero, not falso, okay? Because he said when an older person or when an older people cross the road, It is important to keep in mind that they may suddenly stop in the middle of the road. Oh, yes, it is. When other people are crossing the road, it is important to keep in mind to drivers that they might suddenly they might suddenly stop at the middle of the road. So, as a driver, what you have to do is to reduce your speed. If possible, stop at the moment. So, the number seven is vero, not falso. Okay? Please, I want you to keep this in mind. This is not Africa. Okay? So, let's move to number eight. One thing you got to understand, it is not just all about passing the theory, or it is not just all about acquiring the driving license. You need to know all this so that you can protect the driving license. Okay? All right, so let's move to number eight. The number eight, he said, la sosta è vietata dovunque venga impedito lo spostamento di veicoli in sosta. Oh, yes, it is. The number eight is vero, not falso, okay? Because he said parking is prohibited wherever the movement of parked vehicle is impeded. Oh, yes, it is. Let's say, for example, at the entrance of the Paso Carabele, parking is prohibited at the entrance of Paso Carabele. That is exactly what they are trying to make you understand. That la sosta è vietata dovunque venga impedito lo spostamento di veicoli in sosta. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, so the number eight is vero, not falso. Okay, so let's move to number nine. The number nine is said, è opportuno per il conducente che accusa segni di stanchezza avvicinarsi il più possibile al veicolo che lo precede nella marcia. No, it is falso, not vero. I repeat, è opportuno per il conducente che accusa segni di stanchezza avvicinarsi il più possibile al veicolo che lo precede nella marcia. No, it is falso, not vero. Because if you pay attention to the question, it said it is unadvisable for the driver who shown sign of tiredness to get as close as possible to the vehicles in front of him. No, it is falso, not vero, because it is unadvisable for the driver who shows sign of tiredness to reach the nearest rest area and rest, which is the Piazzola di Sosta. So the number nine is falso, not vero, ok? È opportuno per il conducente che accusa segni di stanchezza raggiungere la più vicino piazzola di sosta e riposare. But if you pay attention to the question, it's telling you that è opportuno per il conducente che accusa segni di stanchezza avvicinarsi il più possibile ai veicoli che lo precede nella marcia. No. So the number nine is falso, not vero. Like as I said, the questions are set to trick you. So let's move to number 10. The number 10 is said, il segnale raffigurato vieta il transito ai veicoli trainati da assini. Oh, yes, it is. The number 10 is vero, not falso. okay? Because he said the sign shown you are seeing here prohibit the transit of vehicles pulled by donkeys. Oh, yes, it is. The transito vietato ai veicoli, ai trazione animale pane you are seeing here, prohibit the transit of vehicles pulled by donkeys. So the number 10 is vero, not falso. If you can learn in this manner, then I guarantee you the exam will be yours. And not just that, I will encourage you to join the private class if you have not joined the private class. Trust me, you can do it. So don't think that you cannot do it. You can do it. Okay? All right, so let's move to number 11. The number 11 is said, La patente di categoria B consente di guidare tutti gli autocaravan camper. No, it is falso, not vero, okay? Because he said the category B driving license allows you to drive all motorhome campers. No, it is falso, not vero, okay? Because with a Patent B driving license, you can drive motorhomes camping, but only up to a certain weight, which must not be more than 3.5 tons, which is equivalent to 3,500 kg in total mass. So for you to drive auto caravan camper van, you need the C1 driving license or higher and above. If he said La patente B consente di guidare camper fino a 3,5 tonnellate, the answer would have been vero, not falso. But as it is right now, the answer is falso, not vero. Because with the Patente B driving license, you cannot drive the auto caravan camper. Okay? So the number 11 is falso, not vero. Okay? All right. For you to understand, because some of you might find it difficult to understand exactly what I am explaining. But if you want more explanation, then join the private class and I will explain in more details for your understanding. Okay? All right, so let's move to number 12. The number 12 is said, il segnale raffigurato è un segnale di obbligo. No, it is falso, not vero, because it said the sign shown you are seeing here is a mandatory sign. No, it is falso, okay? Because the sign shown you are seeing here, first of all, is dorso, which indicate a speed bump on the road. Okay? So the number 12 is falso, not vero. Because the sign shown you are seeing here is not part of segnale di obbligo. All right, so let's move to number 13. The number 13 is said, secondo le norme di precedenza nell'incrocio rappresentato in figura, il veicolo H transita dopo il veicolo O. No, it is falso, not vero. I repeat, secondo le norme di precedenza nell'incrocio rappresentato in figura, il veicolo H transita dopo il veicolo O. No, it is falso because he said, according to the rules of precedence at the intersection you are seeing here, vehicle H, which is the yellow vehicle, passes after vehicle O. No, it is falso. Because according to the rules of precedence at this intersection, if you pay attention to the image, vehicle H which is the yellow vehicle, and vehicle L can both leave the intersection at the same time, which is contemporaneamente. If you also pay attention, you'll see that the red vehicle, which is the B, and what's it called? And the green vehicle, which is the O, are both under direct precedence, which means they will have to wait for these two vehicles to go first. So as soon as this two vehicle is gone, the third vehicle to leave this intersection is the red vehicle. The green vehicle is the last vehicle to leave the intersection. But if you pay attention to the question, it's telling you that vehicle H passes after vehicle O has already gone. No, it is falso, not vero, okay? All right, for those of you who will find it difficult to understand, if you are not yet part of the private class, then you can call the phone number that you are seeing on the screen. Then I will explain more in details. All right, so let's move to number 14. The number 14 is said, il segnale raffigurato obbliga ad arrestarsi all'incrocio. No, it is falso, not vero, because he said the sign shown you are seeing here requires you to stop at the intersection. No, it is falso, okay? Because the sign shown you are seeing here, which is the diritto di precedenza panel you are seeing here, indicates the beginning of a road where vehicles have the right of way. So the number 14 is falso, not vero. Okay? So let's move to number 15. The number 15 is said, valore della distanza di sicurezza dai mantenere da una macchina sbanditrice di sale in azione è di 20 metri. Oh yes, it is. The number 15 is vero, not falso, okay? Because he said the safety distance to be maintained from a sword spreading machine in action is 20 meters. Oh yes, it is. Because we've seen a previous questions like this in the past. So the number 15 is vero, not falso, okay? All right, so for those of you who would like to watch the Scheda Ministeriale to the end, then I will encourage you to join the private class. If you can learn in this manner, I guarantee you will pass the exam. It is just a matter of time, but I guarantee you will pass the exam. All right, so I look forward to see you on my next videos. Ciao.